Paramount has plans to fire James Gunn. They're gonna clean house like Mary Poppins on Adderall. It's easy to believe this if you watch Josh from Den of Nerds, any of his content, but particularly his recent video. He is a very clear reminder you should always question the source. Because when James Gunn initially took over the DCU, Josh and him had a situation, to say the least. Josh announced with anonymous sources that James Gunn hates Henry Cavill. In fact, in a tweet, without any context, without saying it's from a source, he literally stated, James Gunn does not like Henry Cavill. Without getting into how irresponsible that is, James Gunn responded, and believe it or not, was a lot nicer than he should have been. He merely said it was false, clearing the air. But that was not enough for Josh. Josh then responded by saying, even more people have reached out to me since you have said this to tell me you really don't like him, just saying what I heard. Now, what followed is possibly one of the greatest directorial owns in social media history. We're talking a 10 plagues level suplex. We're talking the type of damage Hassan inflicts on his dog for moving a few steps. We're talking a Mortal Kombat-like finisher that if you pay attention to, you can literally hear the bones cracking. James then responded by saying, so weird, you seem so plugged in. Anyway, I just had 40 people reach out to me to say that you got kicked out of your mom's basement. So sorry, man. Needless to say, Josh's disdain for James Gunn has been apparent ever since. And every time he criticizes James Gunn, which is basically on a daily basis, he tends to add qualifiers as if he's objective. He likes James, or the classic, I'm not saying this is a good idea, and then never clarifies his opinion. The guy has been cheering on his firing since this epic takedown that he is still recovering from. Josh is a lot like a dealer selling bad products when it comes to anonymous sources. They constantly lead him astray, but since they make him a few extra dollars, he's completely fine with it. And since he does not like James Gunn on a personal level, throwing him under the bus to do so is okay in his book. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if his anonymous sources are actually just the trending stories on Reddit. And here is the crazy part about all of this. Josh starts off the video by saying there is evidence that Paramount could be ready to fire James Gunn, but guess what he forgot to conveniently tell his audience? That one of Paramount's follow-up offers included having David Zaslav remain as co-CEO of Paramount. This is really important because guess what? David Zaslav is currently co-CEO, and guess what? David Zaslav wants James Gunn as co-CEO. David Zaslav is happy with the direction of the DC universe. And it also completely tears apart the argument he makes in the second half of the video that Paramount is coming in to acquire Warner Brothers the way Disney acquired Fox, tearing them apart, rebuilding everything in its new entirety. In the situation that they proposed to Warner Brothers, a lot of what's going on remains the same. Thankfully, the comments have been reflecting a growing sentiment among his audience. Disdain for the disdain. The top comment summarizes the video in my opinion. Literally no real sources are claiming this. True. Second one. If I had a nickel for every time Josh had a crazy conspiracy theory about Warner Brothers / DC to push his narrative / agenda about Gunn, I'd be rich, end quote. And it goes on and on. So why does he do this? He personally hates James Gunn, and because every time he does, he gets hundreds of thousands of views, lining his pockets quite nicely. So throwing a guy under the bus that he doesn't like in order to accomplish this is okay in his book. So guys, always question your sources, and especially question Josh from Den of Nerds when it comes to anything James Gunn, Warner Brothers, and the DCU. But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen to James Gunn? Are you happy Warner Brothers is about to be acquired? And what do you want to see happen with the DCU? Let me know in the comments.